Hello everyone, welcome to I'm Talking Swish. Larry here along with Stephen Dykman. No intro music because we're having some technical difficulties on it. But Stephen, how you doing?
Good, man. Good. Ended up passing on the tournament this Saturday, the one we talked about maybe that I was going to play in last week. Decided I didn't really want to do it. The Red Bull one. Ended up going to the beach with my girlfriend instead, which was fine. It was really hot. Wasn't the biggest fan of it, but that's what I did instead.
Wouldn't have been either.
Yeah, no.
You know I'm not trying to go in the sun right now.
Yeah, no, not my cup of tea. But either way,
it's a good time done that. You know, it's nice to get away from Magic on occasion.
Yep, for sure. Been playing a lot of, been doing a little bit of drafting here or there. The Amonkhet. Been doing a lot of historic. Trying to play a little bit of that. And that's kind of what I've got going on. Hit Mythic and Limited, which was cool on like Monday or something.
It's always a good achievement for sure.
Yeah.
I know it's pretty exciting. For those that play a lot of Arena Historic, had their ban announcement.
Yep.
Everybody's got their opinions. I personally don't think it was actually correct to do it because just a lot of different things. I don't think it actually directly answers the problems. I think it was just the card that people complained about for the week. You know, it seems like the current trend in quarantine. It's been a new card that people want banned every week.
Yeah.
And don't think that's going to end anytime soon.
The one that I find laughable is Muxus. Muxus is not even... Muxus is a good card, don't get me wrong. It's a little more pushed than it probably should have been. But regardless, the card is, super beatable. I'm beating it with, every deck I play. Now, to be fair... Lately, this week, I've really been on a Karn the Great Creator tick. And, oh my god, Karn the Great Creator against Muxus is excellent because every deck I've been playing has had 2 cages in the board to go tutor up.
Yep.
So, Muxus isn't a huge issue for those decks.
Cage seems like a good tutor target.
Very good right now.
Especially with Citadel being a top deck as well.
Citadel, Collected Company, Euro, Cat Oven.
There's plenty of hits.
So many things.
Plenty of hits, for sure.
Namely Euro, honestly. Just being able to shut off people's Euros, because almost everybody's playing Euro decks.
Euro's a good card.
Yeah,
which is funny, because when we actually streamed it, we actually were not playing a Euro deck. We said, no, we're going to go back to zombies. Some Jerry Thompson at heart right there.
Yeah, and we've definitely got some cool other zombie lists we're going to try out.
Definitely.
On stream, and maybe we'll play one of these Karn the Great Creator decks on stream too. I've actually been really impressed with blue-white because I think Narset is really good in this format. I don't know,
the blue-white that's splashing green for Growth Spiral and Euro is pretty hot.
Sure.
That list it's been doing pretty well too.
I believe that.
I've been seeing it's Jonathan Hobbs doing well with it. I saw
another really cool thing with Karn the Great Creator and Euro is when you exile the artifacts to Euro's escape, you can minus Karn to replay the things that you exiled to escape if they blew up your artifacts at any point in the game, which is kind of hilarious.
That is cool. People, I forget, and I know I'm probably not the only one that Karn lets you grab things out of exile.
Yep, out of exile, period. It doesn't matter.
I remember it happened a lot when with relics.
Yep.
Relics when relics get
in
exiled.
Very rare scenarios, you would tutor a crypt and crypt yourself so you could replay things. Very rare, but it did happen at times.
Yep, definitely agree. And those are the kind of things that once you're playing with the card, you start to remember that, start to get that feel of it.
Yep.
But this week we're going to be talking a lot about Magic Online, not Arena.
Yep.
Because our guest today is actually somebody that plays a lot of Magic Online.
Ton of Magic Online. Pretty good friend of mine. Met a few years ago when he really hadn't really started grinding very much at all at that point, and now he's started making a name of himself on the SCG tour before quarantine happened. Mm-hmm. Very good player, very good at playing, really just good at identifying decks that honestly are just busted and that make sense to play. He was a really, really strong and is a really, really strong dredge player. He's put a ton of time into the Lotus Field decks. So yeah, it'll be fun to have him on, and I'm sure he can share plenty of more information about all this with us.
Yep. But go ahead and let's introduce him.
Connor Mullaly.
You just love saying his name. You've been doing it all week. I had to give you the opportunity to do it live.
Really exciting to have him on.
Yep. How are we doing, Connor?
Larry. I'm doing great. Thanks so much for having me. Thank you for the kind words, Stephen. I really appreciate that.
You're welcome, man.
Excited to talk to you guys. You guys have been putting out some great content lately, so thanks for letting me be a part of it.
Oh, we definitely appreciate it. And you've been, I know we've been following because you actually gave us a raid last week, which actually was really cool.
Yes.
We really appreciate that. Appreciate that as well. Well, Connor, how you doing during quarantine? Well, somewhat quarantine, whatever you want to call this.
Yeah, so to give folks a little rundown, I am a player from the Michigan area. Grew up east side of the state. Dykman and Larry live on west side of the state, but I'm currently living near Cincinnati, Ohio. I go to Miami University, and so I'm about to start my senior year there. We're still not really sure how the school year is going to break down.
Yep.
I'm in RA, my dorm, and so I'm just like kind of here alone right now.
Okay.
Keeping my fingers crossed that everything goes well and kids stay safe. To be honest, I'm not super optimistic, but we're going to see how things go. In the meantime, since I've been here alone, I've been able to play a lot of Magic Online.
That's really cool,
Oh, yeah.
dude. Taking advantage.
And just to clarify, that's on Miami, Ohio, not Miami, Florida, correct?
Yeah.
That is correct. It is Miami in the cornfields, not Miami on the beaches.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, I guess the beaches be kind of cool. But nonetheless, here we are. But no, like I said, I definitely have been following Twitter, and I've been seeing like you just recently did really well with Lotus not Breach, but Lotus Field in Pioneer, which very good deck.
Very, very good.
We were talking about that on one of our episodes. How I think that was the deck that I think is still really good, but people weren't picking it up because it wasn't providing results.
Yeah.
And that's because nobody was picking it up, and then you just went out there, broke that fourth wall, it looks like. Because I think it's starting to pick up a little more popularity from recent lists I've been looking at after that event. So that's pretty cool. You said you met Connor like a few years ago. What were you saying? Sorry about that.
I was just going to say, it wasn't putting up a lot of results after the ban, but honestly, everyone with regards to that deck and kind of storm-based combo decks just like follows Caleb Shearer's.
Yeah.
And so when Caleb started streaming more with that deck, I saw his stream one day, and I just like immediately, very easily 4-1 the league with it. I'm like, okay, this deck is like kind of real again. You have to learn some new heuristics now that you don't have Underworld Breach. The deck is a lot harder to play, but still very powerful. And once Caleb starts putting the content out there, that's where you go.
Oh yeah, Caleb's awesome. When I was playing Blue Red Gift Storm, he was who I immediately went to get my information from because he's just so brilliant when it comes to the Storm decks. Like some of the things he does, like I wouldn't even thought of, and it turned out to work out very well by using his resources. So I definitely would recommend Caleb. And I know I saw your Twitter post recommending that people go to like Caleb's Discord, things like that, or I think his Patreon maybe. Either or, just going to him for like if you want resources how to get better at Storm, which that dude's a monster.
He's great at playing these decks, but he's great at sharing information and teaching people about these decks. And so I really appreciate all the work that he's done to kind of build up both that community and just that body of knowledge.
Yeah.
So definitely check him out.
Yeah, no, that's awesome. Like I don't think I've ever played against Caleb or really interactive outside of he did have a Patreon, I believe, for a while. I don't know if he still does.
Actually, against Caleb,
I was with him, but
I had a camera match against Caleb. Actually, it's the only time I ever played him. It was definitely one of the more exciting matches I've ever played. Really, really stressful match. I was playing D&T, and he was playing Storm.
So you guys are both on your own pet decks?
Yeah, we were on our pet decks,
Nice.
and it was a really good match. Very, very close. I didn't end up beating him, but it was really, really close. Fun one for sure.
Where did you two actually meet each other, Connor and Steven?
So the first time I ever met Connor, I don't even know that it was officially met him, but I knew a guy named Kyle Teagan, who is someone that you and I have played with occasionally over quarantine. I play with him, occasionally. We'll hop on and play a league or whatever. But he Kyle Teagan, we went to a tournament at BC Comics, and at that point Connor was just kind of getting started, being competitive and stuff. Okay. So that was the first time I ever saw Connor. I don't know when I officially met him. It might have been an open. It might have been at BC. I'm not really sure. Do you know Connor?
I don't know. I know that you and I spent a lot of time in Discord calls together.
Yeah.
About a couple of years ago. It might have been before or after we met for the first time.
Yeah.
you, me, Kyle, and there would just be like these 10-person Google Hangout
Yep.
calls of everyone just like
Yep.
asking Dykman for advice on draft picks and what attacks to make and stuff like that.
Yep.
So we had a lot of fun.
The calls with Isaac.
Essentially the same that you do now with Tegan.
Yeah, so we had this guy named Isaac, and it's a really funny story. Zach Allen would be in these calls, and people would always mess with Isaac because he would always say, Dykman, Dykman, what do I do? But those calls were really awesome. I some days miss just being in those huge calls with people. A lot of those people I haven't talked to in a long time, unfortunately.
Yeah,
But
that's how this game goes.
Yeah,
you
it is.
fall out of favor with
it is.
people.
And, it was like a good portion of those 10 were not particularly competitive players either. So, you kind of fall out.
Yeah,
have
especially
fallouts
when we're on the grind.
Yeah.
We
But,
definitely just like had a good time hanging out.
so much fun,
I can say after that, Dykman or Tegan and I, Kyle and I, we carpool together for a lot of events because we live in the same area of
Yep.
Michigan.
Yep.
And because we were in Discord calls with Dykman, we would say, Dykman, just like hop over to the other side of the state, get in our car.
Yep.
And there was a little while there where you, me, Kyle, and James, who's been on the podcast before, teammate of your guys',
Yep.
we were just going to every event together. We didn't even have to like talk about car plans because we knew that Kyle would have car plans, James
Yep.
would have hotel plans. So
Yeah, that was nice.
Yeah, that's kind of how it was like recently with James. Like I wouldn't even really have to think too
Always
much.
James.
Because
dude.
I know
James is the planning specialist. If
Yes,
you
he's
want
pretty good
an
at it.
event planned, it's going to get planned. It's going to be a reasonable hotel, not too expensive, but not, a cheapo, like, bad place. It's going to be reasonable. Yeah, no, James is always on the ball with that. One of his few talents. But
Just a few. Magic, not one of them, but it's fine. He still participates.
But man, is he a good planner.
Listen, I think his biggest talent is being disappointed during our shenanigans.
Yeah, probably.
Just that exasperated sigh.
Oh, yeah, that's the James.
Oh,
dude.
you want to
That's,
talk about? You should see the church when he just does with me and Steven alone, because me and Steven kind of fuel off each other, but for like trolling him, and sometimes it's just accidental too. Like we're not even trying, but it just does, and it's just like brilliant.
Yep.
Like we still.
Believe it or not, when it was just me, Kyle, and Steven, 18-year-old me was the adult on those trips.
Yo, yeah.
Oh, that makes sense.
Yeah.
Based on who you're with, like, yeah, that's. I'm surprised James haven't gone the hard drinking and being on these trips with me and Steven.
Yeah.
Like, I'm expecting an intervention when eventually, like, bro, I know we're bad, but you can't do this to yourself.
Yeah, quarantine might have been a real blessing in disguise for James because he's gotten a nice break from us.
Oh yeah, he's probably enjoying it.
Even though he's a medical worker and is in the heat of it.
Oh,
So-
still better than dealing with us.
Yeah, probably.
That's the messed up
He would
part.
probably say that firsthand too.
I know, like for Magic wise, I know I ran into Connor actually in Detroit at a PPDQ. He was the only Infect player I've ever lost to when I played Merfolk.
That's hilarious.
Right. I got
For-
that was a really fun PPTQ actually. That was like the first PPTQ that I ever won.
Okay.
I got it was also the easiest. I got the buy round one, had like Merfolk and Affinity, two very good matchups.
Yep.
Double drew into top 8, and then played Merfolk, Affinity, Infect Mirror in the finals.
Did you beat James in the semifinals?
Um,
Because James was in that top 8 with us on Affinity.
so I beat you in the semifinals. I beat a local guy. So this was actually at my local store. It was called Flatland Games.
Yes, I just couldn't remember where it was. I was like, is that Wixom? I just could not remember.
Yeah, local store. But I beat a local Affinity player named Tony in the top 8. Beat you in the semis, and then beat a guy from Ohio who was like a real grinder.
Okay. Yeah, that was a lot of fun though. That's where I met Terrence for the first time.
Oh yeah, Terrence, great Merfolk player.
Oh, I lost to him in the mirror in the last round, and so I thought I was dead, and I was packing up because I was with Jonathan Samine at that event. I was leaving. We were getting ready to leave, and they announced the eighth place, and it was me, and I turned around, and I was like, I was so confused, because I was like X2,
Oh, man.
lost my last round, and still got in, and I was like,
Nice.
oh. And then I thought, I was confident, I was like, oh, because there's a few Infect players, I was like, I got plans, like, I thought I planned, and I just could not win that round. Like, he just just dismantled
Were you doing
me.
anything special in your Murph? Were you playing Chalice or anything?
Oh
or?
no, I just had I thought my gameplay was good. I just like always landlocked him. He played around it very well.
Yeah.
Every other Infect player, I just landlocked him all the time.
Dude, Infect is, I think, honestly, it's like one of the traditionally like one of the hardest. Like a good Infect player is like far and few between or whatever. You know?
Oh, I don't think the matchup was good for Murpho by any means.
No, I think
but
Infect traditionally is.
I had really good success against, so I was very confident going into those matches at that point. I thought my plan was very good.
Yeah, sometimes it's just all it takes.
He played very well and did not let me do what I normally did.
Yeah, didn't let you
I had to work harder.
Yeah,
games were close. I just couldn't get the finishing blow on it.
Yeah,
but I agree with Connor. That event was a lot of fun, but. It was funny that he's like, that was one of the easiest events he won right after I said he beat me in the semis or whatever. And then he said, yeah, that was one of the easiest events I've ever played. And I'm like, oh.
I didn't mean that as a compliment. I meant that I got the round 1 bye and got the double draw to top 8. I only had to win 2 rounds before I top 8.
That is insane.
That is nice.
That is unbelievable. That's ridiculous, yeah.
I just got like all the good breaks that tournament.
But yeah, that's really nice. Sometimes that happens.
That's another part of running hot though, is just getting like things like that that'll go your way.
One of my RPTQs, the RPTQ where I guess the only RPTQ where I queued for the PT actually, I kind of had that happen where one round they did a deck check and they took our decks and I can't remember what happened. They came over and something was off with my deck, but it wasn't. I can't remember exactly what it was. Something was off, but it didn't get me a game loss. But my opponent only had like 53 cards in their deck or something. I don't know what was going on with that. So they got a game loss. And then I won that match. And then, obviously, like, yeah, sometimes things just are rolling your way. And that was very much rolling my way. Like, dodging a game loss myself, and then my opponent got one. Like, craziness.
Yeah, no, I've had those. I remember I made a day 2. I don't remember if it was an open or a GP. I was getting dismantled by Esper Control in my winning end, and I was losing game 3. Ended up his sleeves didn't match where all his lands were in one sleeves, and I didn't see it, but the judge saw it.
Yeah.
And he ended up losing because of it, and I ended up going to day 2 over it, so it was pretty cool.
Yeah.
I was like, oh, sometimes you just gotta be better lucky than good kind of thing.
Absolutely, man.
Like,
I mean,
I'll take lucky moments.
Very real thing. You gotta get lucky to win in this game.
This is a game of variance, everything like that, so luck is a big part of it.
Yep.
But, of course, skill is a very big impact as well.
Both matter.
And that's before we jump in, because like I said, we're going to be talking about Magic Online, let's briefly touch what was announced today. We have the Jason Nahiri previewed for Zendikar Rising.
Yep.
I believe it's Zendikar Rising, right? That's the name of the next set. There's so many sets now in Magic.
I believe it is Zendikar Rising. I think that's...
It's like a new set every month.
Yep, Zendikar Rising.
Yep. So yeah, just to go over these, the Nahiri is a red-white planeswalker, usually what Nahiri's lean towards. It's 2 red-white, starts with 4 loyalty. The +1, you get to make a 1/1 white core warrior token. When you make it, it gets to attach an equipment you control to it immediately.
Yep.
Which that's pretty cool. Like, I will say that, Colossus Hammer is what we were talking about.
Yeah, Colossus Hammer, very, very obviously exploitable with this card. Ember Cleave's already playable. There are other Shadow Spear maybe. There are other random ones too, like Ancestral Blade is like
they usually aren't playable, but they might be
playable. Like it's borderline playable anyway. It's a 2-mana artifact that comes in with a 1/1 token, kind of like a living weapon, and then it equips itself and it gives it +1/+1. So it's just like a 2-mana 2/2 basically. Maybe that would have some legs. I'm not even sure if that one's standard legal. I know it's historic legal.
Yeah, I don't know.
But either way,
it's a cool card.
It's a really cool card. The fact that it's a 4-mana walker that pluses to make some bodies is already, that's pretty on base with what 4-mana walkers do. They enter, they make some bodies. So it could very well be playable.
In the former days.
Yeah.
This card seems very fair compared to what we've seen in the last year, but...
Yeah, I mean, if we're comparing it to Narset, Parter of Veils, Nissa, Teferi Time Raveler, Oko, Thief of Crowns, yeah, it doesn't quite match up.
Oko wasn't playable.
But if we're gonna be realistic with our Planeswalker expectations and what you should normally get out of a 4-mana 2-color Planeswalker, This is right about the plus is solid.
Oh yeah, let's go over the
the
negative. You get to look at the top 6 cards of your library. You can reveal a warrior or equipment, put it into your hand, and put the rest in the bottom in a random order.
Yep.
The neg 3, which I, in personal opinion, don't think ever is going to happen in Nagiri's life. Could, but
I think it will happen in some games for sure. But
deals damage to
less.
creature or planeswalker equal to twice the number of equipments you control.
Yeah.
I'm going to be very, very linear when you do that, but it possibly could. You're not wrong. We can't rule it out forever.
Yeah, and the thing is, like, if you have 2 equipments in play, that's 4 damage. It's a Flame Tongue Kavu, that's probably going to kill everything, and it hits walkers too, which is pretty good.
That is relevant. And then the other one's a 3-mana walker, Jace Mirror Mage, 1 and 2 blue, starts at 4. It has kicker for 2. All right, when Jace enters the battlefield, if it was kicked, you create a token that's a copy of Jace, except it's not legendary and its starting loyalty is at 1. As a +1, it's scry 2. Then it has a 0 ability where it's draw a card and reveal it. Remove a number of loyalty counters equal to that card's converted mana cost. So, this card's cool, but there's a few things. I was talking with some of our teammates today. The kicker seems more negative than positive because the benefits of Planeswalkers, the power level that they have, is that your opponents can't interact with you. Giving them priority so they can kill this walker and leaving me with a Planeswalker with 1 loyalty compared to the 4... eliminates a card in Standard. Murderous Rider's still going to be legal. 2 cards that definitely could be seeing play.
Absolutely.
Brazen Borrower, they could just bounce it back to my hand and make me have to redo it, and so many things they can do to just... And then Mono Red's going to can destroy, the token, so many things that could be do. I don't know if 5 mana draw 2 is where I'd want to be for sorcery speed, but I can see if people do want to try this out, they do want to play. I feel like I'd want to play the 1 extra mana for Teferi, me personally, if I'm going forward. It's definitely a card that I could see being messed with, but give my opponents priority. But if we look at it as just the rate of a 3-mana walker...
I think that's when it's actually maybe going to be best.
If we just do it, if we look at it and compare it to the 3-mana rate... 3 mana, scry 2 spines, 3 mana, get to draw a card.
Oh, it's scry 2? I thought it was scry 1.
No, it's scry 2.
It's pretty good.
It's pretty good. But the other issue I see with new formats, they're usually so aggressive that because it doesn't protect itself in any form, it might be so hard to actually get this off. Because is it worth spending your whole turn against an aggressive format where you go 3 mana, play this, I'm very vulnerable now to just dying.
Maybe it's more of a sideboard card in control decks.
It could be.
I could see it just not making the cut in the main deck, but being a nice mirror type of sideboard card. Who knows? I really don't know. The card's hard to evaluate at face value.
So this is just all on paper.
Yeah.
Of course, there's a lot of cards. Remember, on paper, Oko didn't look that impressive. But we see how that turned out.
Yeah.
3 mana walkers are still good at the end of the day. I'm not saying the card
3 mana
sucks.
walkers are generally hard to evaluate just because they are so much cheaper than everything else.
It's probably a card I definitely need to play with. Me personally, I don't know what I would put it in because we still have a lot of set to come out.
Remember, the very first weekend Teferi Time Raveler was legal. A lot of people hadn't figured out how good it was yet either. I remember I was playing, I think, 2 in my main deck of Hero and then 2 in the board for Nexus. And then literally after I played that tournament, I was like, this was so poorly built. I bought them in every round. This card's great. What am I doing?
But that's how new cards are.
Yeah.
You got to figure out what's good. You got to figure out what's not good. Nissa wasn't super busted immediately when it came out.
Yeah, it didn't see play for the first month that it existed. It's almost no play.
And then I wish it would have stayed that way.
It did not even kind of stay that way. People figured out very quickly. Well, I guess kind of quickly that card was just nuts.
Yeah, that card was quite good to say the least. Connor, do you have any intentions to play any standard events in the future?
So, possibly is my answer to that. I'm just not entirely sure what my immediate future of Magic looks like, right?
Sure.
I think that I want to try to qualify for my first Arena qualifier weekend. I think that could be a fun event to play.
Yeah.
As for these new Planeswalkers, I think it's awesome. With War of the Spark, we saw them kind of explore some new design space with the static abilities. And some of them were fine. Some of them, like Teferi and Narset, were obviously pretty big misses.
Yep.
The design space on Jake, adding Kicker to a Planeswalker, it seems pretty, it's obvious that they're not shooting for a super high power level on this one, and I think it's just awesome. So,
yeah, it is awesome. It's smart for sure. I also like it. We don't need any more ridiculously powerful cards. Let's slow it down.
Because things are busted in some form, I don't want them to not try new things.
Oh,
I
for
don't
sure.
want them to be afraid to do
agree.
that.
Yep.
New things could sometimes pan out to be very good. And hopefully maybe this kicker thing is cool and we'd see it more in the future. Like,
Yeah,
if it's
kicker's a cool mechanic.
Maybe the kicker's good enough to like give your opponents that priority, makes it so it brings down the power level a little bit, so we don't have to worry about being busted and getting out of hand, which could be a good thing at the end of the day.
Yeah.
But we won't talk too much. What was that?
I was going to say that I, for one, would like to go a little while without seeing any more standard bans.
That'd be nice.
I don't think I need to express my opinions on bannings.
Yeah.
I talk about it a lot mainly because I hate bans so much, especially in standard.
Yeah.
Oh, I can't stand it because standard's already so expensive. Let's not make this worse. Let's just try to place. Can we just have like Gills of Ravnica standard again? Can we have it back?
Some of that is them just being a little more calm, I think, with some of the stuff they print. So hopefully this set will be a little more died down.
Yeah, they just need to stop drinking them Red Bulls when they're designing cards. Like, y'all are too hyper right now.
Yeah.
Let's come back to our level.
Let's see Green Blue take a few months off. They don't need any more good cards. They have enough. They've had enough.
Like, they just straight up made Siege Rhino look like a puppy now.
Oh, yeah.
Like, Siege Rhino wouldn't even... He's laughable now.
You don't play that card in anything.
Like, for real. Yeah. But regardless, we're here today to talk about some Magic Online.
Yeah.
And Connor, like we've mentioned multiple times so far, has been doing pretty well. And particularly with that Manatraders event that's been rolling. I have no idea what that is. Really, I know...
I don't either.
Steven, you don't either?
Yep.
So, Connor, tell us a little bit about Manatraders and what they're doing.
So, to preface this, Manatraders, for those of you who are unaware, is a card rental service on Magic Online. I've been using them for about 2 years now, and in the last couple weeks I actually became sponsored by them, so I want you to know that I am speaking from that place, but I've also been a user of their product for over 2 years. So, basically what their tournament series is, and to be completely honest, I thought it started out as an April Fool's joke, because they did this big announcement on April 1st. What they're doing is a free $15,000 tournament. Anyone can enter. To get full prizes every month, you have to be subscribed to their service, which makes sense. It's a really good value tournament, but you're only going to get the full value if you're paying them. And how it works is for about 2.5 weeks out of every month, there's what's called a qualifier period, and you can play. It kind of works like the arena ladder, where you can play matches anytime you want, just on your own schedule. You can play one at a time. You can play them all at a time. You need a minimum of 10 matches, so you need to go either 7-3, get a 70% win rate over 10 matches, a 65% over 20 matches, or a 60% win rate over 30 matches.
Okay.
5 for the tournament. The top 20 finishers in the qualifier league get additional prizes on top of that. Usually you have to go you need a minimum of 20 matches, and usually you need to go 15-5 or 16-4 to get that. It's a pretty tight record.
Yep.
And then at the end of every month they do a tournament, and then they've gotten the Lotus Box guys to do coverage, so that's been really cool, and they've been rotating the format every month.
Nice.
So I played. I made kind of a deep run in Pioneer, lost playing for top 8 of the Modern one, and then this month's Legacy.
Yep, did see that. That's the Legacy format. Are you queued at this point or no?
I am not. I went 6-4 in my first 10 matches, and I believe that the qualifier period ends tomorrow. And so, unfortunately, I fell one match short, but
sure.
I've got a lot going on with school right now.
Oh yeah,
so I'm not too worried.
We totally
no,
get
it. That's
totally
nothing to be ashamed of,
yeah.
For sure. What was that?
So yeah, that's with that, and it's been really cool because it almost feels like you're seeing a leaderboard and you're seeing coverage, and you've got names that you recognize keep coming back to events. So I think it's really awesome. It almost feels like, kind of the closest thing we have to paper events right now.
Sure.
Yeah, no, I just like that these other third party outlets we have Nerd Rage Gaming, Manatraders, things like that. are stepping up when we're in this like unfortunate time for the Magic world at least.
Yep.
And they're doing things like this because that's really cool. Like I said, the first time I watched them was because you were actually on feature matchup against the Red Black Prowess deck. And I saw it was like round 6 and I was like, man, this event looks like a lot of fun. I didn't have any idea like where these players came from, if they just like picked them. I knew Manatraders did an event, but I really didn't know anything outside of that.
So Connor, if Larry or I were to, because we have a Manatraders account, if we were to hop on Moto, is there like a tab that you can enter matches for this qualifying period, or how does that work?
How the actual tournaments work is that there's like a page on Manatraders' website. For the series. You press play a match, it pairs you with somebody, and what you do is you go into the tournament practice room.
Oh, okay. So you kind of direct challenge people then.
Yeah,
okay.
Exactly. And it's really cool. They actually have some sort of bot set up, because initially I was just like, I don't see a report button anywhere. But they have a bot set up like watching the tournament practice room that just collects all the match results. It's really cool.
Okay.
That's really cool. I don't understand how bots work. I just know that's who I go to trade cards.
Yep.
Like, that's all I know. But no, that's pretty cool. I like what Manager is doing. So they're doing tournaments every month. Is there going to be like a big tournament at the end of it? Or is that not a thing?
Not to my knowledge.
Okay.
I think right now they're just running the monthly tournaments and kind of seeing how those go.
Yeah.
Obviously, in my mind, they've been a huge success so far. Like,
yes.
Each tournament has had between qualified, and you got to figure at least twice that are like playing in the league.
Yep.
So
oh yeah, for sure.
That's nice, man. Yeah, that's really cool.
Yeah, like that. I really like that idea. That's pretty cool. We might have to dip our toes.
I mean, we definitely should. We're paying for Manatraders and haven't even really been using Manatraders very much. So it'd be beneficial for us to get some value off of paying for it. I think we've used it 3 or 4 times.
I don't know. I use it down here on my
That's
own.
fair. You've used it more than I have.
Yeah,
a lot.
I like, my opinion. I think Moto is way better than Arena by far for many reasons. So I do like to go on Moto. I was playing my Grixis Dredge on there.
That's right.
Buddy, that deck ain't good. But man, I can't stop queuing up with it for some reason. I'm like, I think I figured it out. Never did. It's fine. Like, I'll probably still be queuing it up in the next few weeks because I'm addicted to playing a bad deck.
Yeah, sometimes fun is fun, you know?
Yeah, I don't even think I have fun doing it. I just can't stop doing it.
That's fair.
I need an intervention or something. I don't know. But next, Magic Online is a little interesting. I know a lot of people I talk to, like from the local card stores, things like that. I tell them, like, why don't you play like online? Because they talk about they want to start getting better, and the big thing I hear people, they're like, I don't want to pay to start playing Magic Online. Connor, what was the best way for you to really get into online competitive Magic?
Sure. So my process was kind of over a number of years. Actually, after that PPTQ that we were talking about earlier, I decided that to test for my RPTQ, I was going to buy into Magic Online and get into stuff. And so for a little while, I was just kind of like one deck. What I do is I would just like play that deck a bunch, and then eventually I saved up enough tickets to buy Dredge and then buy another deck and things like that. I would say with the advent of rental services, those are the way to go. Whether you use Manatraders or Card Hoarder, being able to switch decks regularly, especially with how often it's unfortunate that things get banned a lot.
Yep.
Manatraders, Card Hoarder both offer like pretty good pricing. Various depending on like what your budget is.
Yep.
I play like a lot, and so I'm using the highest tier. But there's also tiers for like $10, $20, and $30 a month that you can do. So it's super flexible, and it's pretty affordable if it's something that you're spending a lot of time.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, that makes a lot of sense. I know when I got into Magic Online, I did I don't know if they still do it. It was like $10 to just set up your account. You get a bunch of these random cards that really are meaningless, honestly. And then I just went and bought Burn, and I used Burn to grind tickets because
there are times where Burn is so good to grind money, man.
Another way I really grind tickets back in the day was Pauper Burn and Pauper Goblins.
Yep.
I used to use Pauper to death before they started to like really gain steam. I would just go on Magic Online. I would just like grind and just collect tickets.
Yep.
This is before treasure chests were a thing. I forget what you used to get like instead of chests. Like, it's been so long. I think it was just packs. I can't remember.
Sure.
I think it was packs.
Yeah, that's one of the great things about it in my mind, is that if you want to like take the time and really learn a deck and just play it a bunch, and you eventually get good enough with it, that like eventually you can start earning a little bit of that money back, and I think that that's like really cool.
I agree. With Manatraders, is it only cash payments? Because I know like Card Hoarder, you could pay with tickets.
Yeah, Manatraders also lets you sell tickets, and if you sell them tickets to recharge, they use a wallet system. So I have my Manatraders wallet, and if you sell cards with your wallet, you get like a bonus. So they're actually buying tickets at like above $1 if you do it like that, and you just use your tickets to recharge your subscription.
Nice. Well, that's actually a really good deal. Yeah, no, that's a good way to like grind Magic online. And like, is that like some of the main financial obstacles you would imagine, like, or not just imagine, but like put the pen and paper is mainly like getting the decks and being able to afford? Because as we noticed, if you go on like MTG Goldfish, which is like probably the #1 site people use for decks at this point,
Yeah.
and you look at the prices of some of these cards, because now with Arena out, the standard fluctuation of cards is very low percentage wise compared to what it used to be. So now you got cards like Teferi, Euro, things like this that are so extremely expensive because the circulation of those cards aren't going through like they used to. And would you, like I was saying, is that like the big financial obstacle that you would pinpoint for the like getting into Magic Online?
Not exactly. So that's the big upfront cost, right? But once you have a deck or a rental service, the thing that's going to be difficult for some people is the event costs, right?
Mm-hmm.
So depending on your financial situation and how much you win, you might not be able to play 4, 5, 6 leagues plus a couple tournaments every week. That's just not always feasible for everybody. Like,
right.
It costs equivalent of $10 to enter a league, and if you go 3-2 or better, then you get your money back plus some. But back when I was like I think 17 when I first bought into Magic Online, and I just wasn't doing that well, and so I put like a little bit of money into it, just like keep playing leagues and things like that. So that was tough, and what I would say about that is find some like free play options. Again, we're going to keep going back to this. I think that the Manatraders tournament is awesome for that, because if you're just like trying to get a little bit of competitive experience, like you qualify at 10 matches, but you can play as many matches as you want in this qualifier league. And I've got a couple of friends who just like, even if they're not all that good at this month's format Legacy, they just keep doing that because it's a free way to play, but you're still getting that competitive nature because people are still trying to get on that leaderboard and qualify for the tournament. So
no, that's actually that's a good point.
Play the leagues if you can, but find a free to play option if you can't, because there's plenty of them out there.
Yeah.
Mentioning a free to play, I know I have friends that for their tournaments, like when they would go to like opens with us and stuff, they would be very, very happy and proud about their success in the tournament practice room. I'd always give them my truthful opinion that I don't think you're getting the full practice in that room, based on my experience in it. But is there like a benefit to using that if you don't have them? So let me rephrase that. So the tournament practice room, obviously that's the free room. That's where you can go. You can play you pick your format play. Is that something that would actually be a good thing to do if you can actually reliably do leagues?
Yeah, absolutely. I think that one of the biggest pluses to Magic Online is that you're going to learn your deck really well. Unfortunately, like same as on the Arena ladder, the competition in leagues and in challenges isn't always going to be, mythic level competition is what I'll say. I assume that most folks who are listening to this know about the arena system.
Mm-hmm.
Like, you're not going to get the best competition in the leagues, in the PTQs, in, wherever you're playing, the tournament practice room. So I think that the biggest thing about Magic Online is that you get to learn your deck really well just because of all the reps you can get. But another really cool feature is the replay tool. So even if you're playing in a place where people might not be playing Tier 1 decks or might not be Pro Tour caliber players, what you can do is you can go back and rewatch your matches and like look for mistakes and try to learn from them. So it's a really excellent study tool if you're willing to like put the time in and you're really trying to improve.
Oh yeah, I've definitely have used that replay actually. I remember I learned about the replay from Ray because I was talking about like going through. I was trying to tell my lines or whatever, and he just showed me how we could just pull it up and actually see it.
Yeah.
Which is very useful. Like, especially if you just like know about a play mistake or you're like, I had a very tough decision. Let me get your insight on it. Like to one of our teammates, for example, where you'd be like, all right, let's play it at this exact moment. This is where the play was. Now we can get like more insight on it.
Yeah, that is very, very nice.
That Arena
sure.
does
very
not
nice.
have.
Yep.
Like, which wish they would. Like, of course, can't always get what you want, kind of thing.
Yep, maybe someday.
Yep. But regardless, it is a really good feature that
Super good,
definitely should take advantage of. I know I was always a big fan of like doing leagues. Because I feel like the competition was better than the tournament practice room, obviously, because one's free, one's not. Of course, you still run into those brews. I don't really actually, me personally, I don't get mad about playing brews because every deck had to be a brew at one point.
Yeah.
And they obviously want to see if their brew is good enough, so they want to play against real decks.
I'll never forget when I think I brought this up on the podcast before, how I thought Inverter was a brew when we were in New York.
Yes.
And I was playing some nonsense green-white Master of the Unseen Heliod green-white deck, and so which was also a brew, obviously, and then they crushed us because I had very little interaction for this, let alone instant speed interaction in my enchantment deck, and
Really?
yeah, they just blew us away, and I was like, oh, that was such nonsense, like whatever, yeah, we have a bad matchup there. Turns out a few weeks later, it's like the best deck or whatever, and it's actually just a real deck. But
yeah, I told you when I was actually getting ready for PT Phoenix, I was playing Lotus because I was going to play Lotus in the event at first, and I kept playing. I played against this mono red player that played Damping Spear game 1 on me on turn 2. I was so angry. No, I was so mad that I just I'm going to mono black.
This has got to be my opponents right now when I'm playing all these random decks with Karn the Great Creator in it, and I keep getting.
They didn't have no Karn. They straight up.
Oh, I know. They just played it in the main. At least
like,
Karn's a little more excusable.
It triggers prowess. It's fine.
So bad. Man.
I was so mad.
That is ridiculous.
That's how you can tilt a guy right there.
Oh, yeah.
No.
You knew that was his plan.
Yeah.
I'm not losing to Lotus Breach today.
I didn't play a game 2. Didn't even think about playing game 2. I was like, you got it. You wanted this more than me.
You wanted it so badly that you're main decking Damping Spheres.
Bad against every other deck, but it's fine against me.
Yep.
I was a little angry.
I'd imagine.
But
that actually leads pretty nicely. The leagues versus tournament practice stuff into something that I wanted to bring up, if you guys are okay with that.
Yeah, go ahead, man. Bring it up.
So if y'all, the listeners, are people who are maybe new to playing online Magic and aren't sure if you want to break into Magic Online or Arena, like you're having to choose between the two, right? I think one of the biggest things for me is that Arena is mostly free to play. Once you buy in, you are just playing on the ladder for low or no stakes, right? You can just kind of play as many matches as you want. Whereas Moto, you can play, there are some no stakes options, but there's low stakes options like leagues, just like a $10 entry. And then there's also PTQs and events which are called prelims, which they're like a $30 entry, just like a 5-round flight. And if you 5-0 them, you're playing for upwards of $100 in product.
Mm-hmm.
And so a big thing for me is that I have a difficult time focusing sometimes. I've got some attention issues.
Sure.
If I'm in class, wondering what's going on Twitter, or have a hard time paying attention. With Magic Online, playing for stakes helps me focus. And I say, this match matters, and I'm going to be dialed in, and I'm going to be, actually focusing on trying to make the right plays, right, and trying to figure out what the best plays are. Now, the downside of this is that because you are playing for stakes, it gets a lot harder to take risks, and so it becomes a lot harder to brew and to innovate if you're not willing, or to try new things, if you're not willing to lose those event tickets or that tournament entry. And so I think a lot of it comes down to what your strengths and weaknesses are. Mm-hmm. I'm someone who doesn't really like to brew or try new things. I'm a very tried and true type of person. And so being able to play on Magic Online where the stakes help me focus in and just kind of really give every single game my all and feel like every game matters is helpful to me. If you are someone who really likes trying out new things and switching decks and trying new cards, Arena definitely rewards that because you're not sacrificing equity by trying untested things. I think that's one of the huge upsides about Arena.
That's a really good point you bring up there, Connor, because that's definitely a reason I like Arena for sure, is the fact that, the last, 2 days or whatever, I was like, you know what, I want to play, Mono Black Devotion. So then I played some Mono Black Devotion, and I was like, yeah, this deck's not feeling that great. And then I played Mono Black Devotion with Karn the Great Creator in it. And then I said, okay, Karn the Great Creator is feeling kind of sweet. Let's play this in green so I can ramp into it. And that was feeling quite good. And then I was like, well, everybody's playing Euro right now. I think I want to play Narset and Karn the Great Creator to just not let anyone do anything they want to do. And so then I'm playing blue-white control with Karn the Great Creator in it. And the only win condition is either Ultimate Teferi and then loop my deck with Commit Memory, or Memory with Narset in play, So yeah, no, I definitely... that's a really good point to bring up, because that is a really, really nice thing about Arena, and the fact that I'm not the only thing I lose is wild cards, but all the decks are sharing Karn anyway, so I'm not losing anything with the Karns. Yeah, no, for sure, definitely a good point.
That's honestly something that I'm trying to get better at, and I wish I were better at, is taking risks with new things.
Mm-hmm.
Just the other day, someone in my stream chat, we were playing Lotus Field, and it was just what do we think about Voyaging Satyr? Because we were kind of noticing in our games that this format is really fast, and I was just you know what, that's a really cool idea. I'm just gonna drop from this league, move to a new one, and I'm just at this point, I think I'm getting to a point where I still care about each match. It's really hard balance to strike for me between caring enough about each match that I'm gonna try versus not really putting too much stock into the results, if that makes sense.
Sure.
Being willing to lose to learn new things.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, that makes sense. Yeah, taking those risks and stuff to play, especially it's a little easier in leagues than be hey, I'm gonna register this cool little tech for challenge or one of those PTQ events where the entry fee is quite higher. Excuse me, but yeah, it makes sense. And I know outside of leagues and tournament practice, those are where you can get your reps, and then you got the big time events. And those, I just mentioned now, is the PTQ events that they have on Magic Online, along with the challenges. Are challenges weekly? Is that how those work?
They're actually twice weekly. So they recently updated this, where for every big constructed format, so that includes Pauper, Standard, Pioneer, Legacy, Modern, Vintage, I think.
Okay.
Has a challenge on both Saturday and on Sunday.
Huh. Oh, I wasn't aware of that.
It's cool.
Yeah, it's pretty incredible. And so sometimes what I'll do is I'll wake up, I'll play an 11 a.m. Modern challenge, a 5 p.m. Pioneer challenge, wake up, 9 a.m. Pioneer, 5 p.m. Standard. It's just it really lets you kind of customize your experience and let you play you get to play high stakes Magic in whatever format you want to play it.
They do them at 5 p.m.
Yeah, they have 5 p.m. tournaments on Magic Online on Saturdays and Sundays.
That's
now.
nice.
Yeah, because I'm on this work 7-day grind until Magic returns, and I can do 5 p.m.
Yeah.
5 p.m. is actually very intriguing to me.
Yeah.
Sunday evening standard challenges, you guys would love it.
Do they do all formats at 5 p.m., or is it just Pioneer specifically on Saturday and then Standard specifically on Sunday at 5 p.m.?
Yeah, so it's like that. They have a tournament every day, and it's they basically just fire a tournament every 2 or 4 hours.
I see.
And then the formats are all at the same time each weekend.
Okay. Yeah, that's very intriguing because I don't really care what format it is. Tell me I could do a tournament at 5 p.m. is just perfect news for me.
Yeah.
Because that's a good sweet spot time because I could just work an hour earlier.
Yeah, a lot of times we're playing Magic at that time anyway. Just doing streaming or whatever, or just playing for fun on our own time.
Right, definitely can't stream together doing those challenges.
Yeah, I'm aware of that. I'm just saying, that's a time where we're playing Magic was the point there.
Right. I want to talk about something with us when we're talking about Magic Online. The biggest thing that me and Steven has been dealing with is just making sure that we can streaming's a little bit differently because we want to make sure that we're actually generating the revenue, because we had to play some bad decks.
Yeah.
We played this Yumori Flash deck.
Yeah, I think that is literally the worst deck I have ever played in any format. Even worse than like when I first got into Manatraders. Like, that was a bad deck. Oh my god!
I don't think we got close to winning.
No, not even.
Did we take a game from someone?
We might have won a game out of 6.
Because they should quit Magic.
I think we won a game in 6, and we got really lucky. I think too, if I remember right. Like they drew horribly, or we like top decked like really well, like 3 or 4 turns. It was like we shouldn't have even won the game. We did win. We won a game and lost the match.
Yeah, we were.
Oh my god!
And then what was the other one? And then we tried Lure Elves. We were like, what if we took Elves, hear us out,
and made it worse?
And we took out all the good like Lord effects and things like that.
Yeah.
And instead we played Loris, so we could keep replaying the cards that aren't very good without Lords.
Yeah.
And come to find out, it wasn't very good.
No, pretty bad.
The Mill deck was cool.
Mill was actually okay.
Yeah, Mill
that was the best deck we played.
Mill was probably the only legit deck we played.
Yeah.
Don't get wrong, Loris Elves was fine.
Yep.
It was a fine deck, but
it 2-3 or whatever.
It was just too bad comparable.
Yeah. It was worse.
And that's the thing when you're streaming and you're doing like leagues and stuff like that. You have to throw in some good decks too, some already established decks, so you can not drain out all of your bank account, Magic Online bank account for that matter. And that's something we're gonna be doing more. We're gonna definitely be playing, because I was mentioning we did stream Boros Hammer on Saturday, and we probably had like our best following that day doing that.
Yep.
And I think people might be just tired of seeing Magic Arena.
It's a mix of a lot of things. I think people are kind of tired of Standard too.
Yeah.
Standard, because when you're doing Standard, Historic is people are less interested in it. I think in general, just because it's there are less. Like Connor was saying, there are very few high-stakes historic events at the moment, especially.
Yeah.
Because Moto doesn't even have historic, right?
So, no, it's strictly an arena format.
Yeah.
And I think Jeff Hoagland is the only one that does historic events.
Yeah.
They are actually doing Saturday. They have a historic event.
Oh, do they really?
You might want to look into playing in that. It's for the CFB thing.
Oh.
It's their monthly showcase thing.
Okay. I should look into that, because I would definitely enjoy that.
I'm going to decline playing because I don't feel like taking the day off to play it.
What time does it start, do you know?
Probably like 1 p.m.
Oh, that's fine, yeah. As long as I don't have to wait.
I don't know what the time is. It is single elimination.
That's fine. I mean,
just so you know, so you can just die quickly and go back to playing some Pokemon on the Switch.
Yeah, exactly.
It's a win-win situation. But no, challenges and PTQs are something I definitely want to take part of more, mainly because I think I did one PTQs. I don't know if I would actually do, because I did one PTQ. It was a modern one. The very first one I did, that thing was like 10 rounds.
Oof.
Magic Online big events, man, they're no justice. They are hard to top 8. Anybody that top 8s these Magic Online PTQs, round of applause from me alone, because those things are some grinds. Talk about exhaust.
Like really hard tournaments, but let me explain why that one was 10 rounds. So earlier in quarantine, or like at the very start of quarantine, Magic Online introduced these tournaments called Super PTQs, which they were tournaments that you can enter with either QPs, which are a separate currency that you earn by doing well at events. But anyways, these were tournaments that prized down to 128 places. And the prizing structure was insane. Like if you top 16, you made like $150, and they awarded two invites to first and second place.
Okay.
And they went away for a little while, and then they brought them back in sometime in July. So they said, we're going to have a few more this year. And Larry, the one you're talking about was like the first Super PTQ back, and so the prize structure was insane. And the Magic Online players were really excited to have those back, because before we were getting 6 or 7 a week. It was just so many back in April and May.
Right.
And so people were really excited to have those back, which was why that event was so huge.
Okay, fair enough.
Makes sense. One thing I didn't have listed on our outline for the show, can you explain to us what the benefit of doing those preliminary events are? Because me personally, I look at them and I see the price tag on them, and I'm like, are these even worth it? Because they seem so expensive.
Absolutely. So for those of you who don't know, there's a currency in Magic Online called qualifier points, and you can use them to enter MOCS events, which is Magic Online Championship Series events, and you can use them to enter PTQs. You need 40 of them to enter, and you can earn them by doing well in leagues and weekly challenges. The problem is that 5-0ing a league gets you like 5 QPs or something like that, so you need to play a lot of leagues in order to get enough of these to qualify for a PTQ, and there are some MOCS events where QPs are the only option. The upside of prelims is that you get 40 QPs for going 4-1 or 5-0. So for people who can't afford to play multiple leagues in a week, they give you a chance to sit down and have a one-shot way to just get entry into one of these bigger tournaments.
Okay, that makes
cool.
that makes more sense. And you said that you can use these QPs to enter PTQs. So you don't have to pay the entry fee anymore? You can just use those, or do you have to do it in addition?
Exactly, yeah. So for some of the PTQs, it's like you can use event tickets, which are the equivalent of dollars.
Yep.
Or you can use QPs. There are some more exclusive events which require QPs to enter, but those are few and far between.
Okay.
Okay, yeah, that was because, like I said, I look on the paper and I'm like, why are these so expensive? Because I wasn't really doing much of the QP thing. Like, I've never done those Mox qualifier events. I had a buddy from Chicago that was in the Mox last year because he did well in them, and I know that they're very tough, like very strict competition that you have to deal with. But I never took part of them myself, obviously. And the event that you just it was that I forget, was that a challenge or PTQ that you just took second in, or was that a Mox event?
So, to give everyone a little brief rundown of the Magic Online Championship Series this year, there's basically a ladder. So, there were showcase challenges, which just replaced one of the weekly challenges for every format. And all of these tournaments happened for every format. You needed to top 8 a showcase challenge to qualify for the showcase qualifier.
Mm-hmm.
The winner of the showcase qualifier qualifies for the 8-person Magic Online Championship. And I recently took second place in the showcase qualifier. And basically what that was 24 people who had top 8'd previous of these showcase challenges. There wasn't anything special about them other than you needed qualifier points to enter.
Okay.
And it was one of the most stacked fields I've ever played. It was LSV, Gabe Nassif was in there, Tiago Saporito, and Tommy Ashton. Standerson is one of the most prolific Magic Online grinders to ever do it. And then the person who ended up beating me in the finals, Doomwake, a friend of mine, Devin, has just been crushing Pioneer lately.
Yeah, so he really has.
Really fun tournament, just because I got to play against so much great competition.
Right. And that tournament, if you would have won it, you would have been in the Mox?
Yeah, I would have been in the Mox, and I would have qualified for the Pro Tour, or the Players Tour, whatever they're calling it now.
Did you get anything for second place, or?
So yeah, there were prizes just for standard top 8 finals prizes. I ended up walking away with Doomwick and I actually ended up splitting in the finals. So we just said there's such a massive prize disparity here.
Yeah.
First place gets the invites. Second place gets everything else, all of the product prizes. And so after I sold, the event tickets and the treasure chests and the set that I got, I ended up with about $1,000.
Oh wow, nice.
Yeah, no, I know there was a lot of prize.
It's work.
That's nice.
Right. And then did they do I know some events do where you get a play set or a token or something like that. Did they do that for this event?
Yeah, so what that is people who top 8 get what's called a set, which is just you click, it's like a treasure chest, but you click open, and you just have one of every card from this particular set added to your account. And Magic Online has this, I don't actually know if they're doing this during COVID, but they have this cool feature called Redemption, where you can have Magic Online take one card, or one of each card in the set off of your account, and then they will mail you those cards in paper. So you have to pay a fee to do it, the shipping fee is $25 or something. And I have done that before because you can just kind of randomly open sets in treasure chest boosters.
Yep.
So yeah, it's a pretty cool system if you play a lot of Magic Online and you're trying to convert that into paper.
Can you sell that before opening it, or no? Do you have to open it then sell the cards individually?
You just have to sell the cards individually.
Okay. No, I didn't know because like with treasure chests, you can sell treasure chests without opening them. Now,
Right.
big question: when you play leagues, when you do challenges, all that, do you open your treasure chests or do you just sell them?
So usually I open them because
See, that's what I like to hear. That's what I. That's what you're supposed to do.
I like to run up a lot of play points. I'm kind of ashamed to admit that recently I have been selling them.
Dead to me.
The Magic Online economy works such that whenever a new set comes out, depending on like the prices of the cards in that set, the prices of treasure chests fluctuate, right?
Mm-hmm.
And you can sell each chest for between 2 and 2.2 tickets. Well, with Double Masters coming out and a lot of like really high value cards being in that set, most of the major bot chains were buying for between 2.6 and 2.7.
Oh, nice.
That is actually pretty
It's a
good.
big uptick.
Yeah. I can't really hate you for selling.
Yeah, that's a
treasure chests.
big uptick.
That's hard. That's almost $3.
That's like a 25% increase almost,
Yeah, like-
which is really high. So
Yeah, that's definitely. I would actually consider me because I was a poker grinder before a Magic grinder, so my gambling part of me still kicks in. And be like, I could sell it for almost $3, or I can open euros and four just really quick.
Gamble. And I will say this to the people at home: the upside of opening treasure chests is that there is a currency on Magic Online called play points, which is used exclusively for event entries, but you can't trade them, so you can't sell them. If you need play points, if you're playing a lot of events, open your treasure chests because you'll get more value in those play points than you would from selling them.
That's what I always say. Like I love the play points.
Yep.
Because I'm gonna be playing Magic regardless.
Yep.
So play points is just money to me.
Yep.
Exactly.
Like I love having as much play points because then, especially when we're like, I know you're doing streaming, we're doing more streaming now ourselves as well. Play points are so valuable when you're streaming because we gotta play bad decks too. That maybe not necessarily bad quotation,
Not
mark,
tier.
but yes,
Not
because that's what people love,
You gotta try some stuff out.
And sometimes we get somebody that will message the team stuff and be like, "Hey, I want to see this," and be like, "Okay,
Yeah. Yep.
that's what we're here for, right?"
Yeah, exactly. Yep.
Like I said, we played Yumori, Flash,
Yeah.
and Pioneer.
And to be fair, a lot of that was just on us not making a better deck because all they technically said was make Flash or whatever they said. I can't
Yeah,
remember.
they wanted to see Demir and Simic Flash combined.
I see. Yeah.
And it
we
was
should have played better cards in our deck in general, rather than playing a pile of garbage. But we chose a pile of garbage.
but dang it, we tried.
Yeah.
All teams tried hard, but but that's the fun part of streaming. That's I prefer to stream Magic Online over Arena any day myself. One, I don't think I expressed this. I like if Magic Online lags out.
Yeah.
I'm gonna actually still be able to play this game of Magic.
Mm-hmm. That is really nice.
You lag out on Arena, it's over.
Yeah.
9 times out of 10, you're probably going to lose this match.
Yep.
Like, so I've always enjoyed Magic Online for competitive tournaments too.
Yeah, which is really nice for sure.
Because like one tactic I've learned from Ray is if I'm doing a competitive tournament on Magic Online, like the Nerd Rage events, I get my screen up, I go and get logged in and everything, but I also have a backup Magic Online already loaded up in case I need to log in really fast, just because something happened.
Yeah, for sure.
Like, you just gotta use those tactics. What are some of the keys that you would advise, Connor, if you want to be successful for Magic Online?
Learn how to manage your clock. So one of the biggest things that is different from Magic Online to Arena is chess clock on Magic Online. You have like a 7-minute inactivity time or something like that. So if you don't make any actions for like 5, 7, 8 minutes, something like that, you will lose your match. But other than that, there's no rope or anything. So you can really like take your time on the difficult decisions and make sure that you're making them correctly. Another thing that I would say is there is just like infinite events out there. Like I said, you can play a league at any time. You can play a prelim 5 times a day, and you can play as many challenges as you want on the weekends. Know what your goals are and know where you want to dedicate your time to. I put most of my time specifically into Modern and Pioneer just because those are the formats that I have the most experience with and enjoy the most. So what formats you want to play and know what your goals are, and that will inform what kind of events that you should be playing in.
No, that makes sense. I know I gravitate towards playing modern events myself because it's always been my favorite format. But obviously, I've played the other formats as well. What was the deck that you were playing for the Legacy Manatraders event?
So I swapped around to a few decks. I played a little bit of Hogak just because I loved that deck back in the modern days.
Oh yeah.
But I played a little bit of that, and then we played a little bit of Snowpile, just like Arkham's Astrolabe blue deck, Oko,
Yeah.
Uro, just kind of like some good mid-rangey cards.
Yeah, the snow deck. Yeah, snow decks are pretty much the same, minus some cards here and there.
Yeah, I figured I just played that deck so much in Modern when Astrolabe was legal. Not a whole lot's different in Legacy, to be honest. A lot of the same things are
Oh,
important.
you didn't try to touch Dredge? Didn't even think about it?
Not a whole lot, no. The Hogak is the graveyard deck for me in that format.
Makes sense. Hogak is a very strong card. And it was obviously good in Modern.
Yeah.
Who would know? The card that says you can't pay mana is good.
Mm-hmm.
Regardless, yeah, no, that's pretty sweet though. And they don't have the next format announced yet. They probably won't do that until after this one.
Sorry, say that again?
My apologies. They don't have the next format for Manatraders announced yet.
They do not.
Okay.
They've been going kind of up the chain. So they went Pioneer, Modern, Legacy.
Mm-hmm.
So we might see Vintage, but we might also see them restart and just do Pioneer or Standard. I'm not really sure at this point.
Can they do can anybody rent vintage cards on Manatraders, or do you have to be a specific tier?
To be honest, I'm not 100%.
Okay.
Yeah.
One cool thing I
Probably play Vintage, so
Yeah.
right. One cool thing I did want to mention. I know not every tournament's doing this yet, but the Nerd Rage Gaming events in particular, they actually have an agreement with Card Hoarder where you can run a deck for the one day for $10 any deck.
Oh, that's nice.
For
That's
their
smart
events.
too. That's
Yep, for
really
their-
smart from both sides.
Yeah, for their events, like the
That's
last
nice.
Legacy one, you can pay $10 to rent any Legacy deck. You have to return it that same day. So you rent it, you get it, they'll give it to you on like that Saturday, and then you return it by Sunday night.
Wow.
Yeah, they're gonna be doing it because they just announced the Nerd Rage Gaming series that's gonna be ran on Magic Online and Magic Arena,
That's a great deal.
and Card Hoarder's gonna be doing that for every one of their events.
Yeah.
So it'd be cool to see more things like that for people that don't want to do the monthly subscription. They're like, I only want to do the big events, and they'd be like, all right, just pay $10 and you can rent a deck for this specific event. Be cool to see if they expand that a little bit more.
Yeah.
Nerd Rage is cool because Wizards actually opened up and they're doing one of those. I don't even really understand what those little qualifier weekend events are. I didn't really read the full article on it, so I'm not too aware what those are. But you get spots for them essentially. I don't know if those are like the new PTs or whatever. But is there any events that you have on your radar right now, Connor, for the future?
So, to be honest, not a ton of big events. I'm just looking at playing PTQs and challenges when they come up.
Mm-hmm.
I've been playing a lot recently. I had the mocks. I've been playing obviously all the Manatraders events and 2 or 3 challenges every weekend.
Mm-hmm.
And so, to be honest, this weekend I've got some friends moving back into town, and I'm just looking to take it easy. Maybe just play one tournament this weekend.
Yeah. It's nice to take a mental break too because Magic will really mess with you if you play too much, I've learned. And
I think a lot about. I've been doing a lot of thinking this week about like what my goals are and what I'm trying to accomplish with Magic, and kind of from the start of quarantine, I've just said like these online tournaments, they're really cool, but they're not important if that makes sense. Like, that Mox was cool. I would have loved to win it and like gone to the Pro Tour. That would have been incredible. But just like these weekly challenges and these Manatraders, while they're great and I love competing in them and I love getting to like root for my friends and stuff, really I'm just trying to set my sights on when we can get back into paper and start playing the tournaments that, in my mind, are the ones that I really care about. And so I've been doing a lot of thinking about what my process looks like, and I think that playing these like 2 or 3 tournaments every weekend has actually made me worse at Magic. It gives me opportunities to be competitive, but it also has me focusing a little bit too much on the results and a little bit less on the process. And so I think that I'm going to be taking some time and stepping back a little bit from the tournaments and just trying to see if I can really improve my process and like slow things down and try to be a lot more mindful when I'm playing instead of just trying to like jam a bunch of games. Gotta play 20 games with this deck to see if it's good, if I can play at this tournament or not.
Yeah.
So.
Because when you do that, I at least, Larry and I have talked about this quite a bit. I think Magic is a lot less enjoyable and less fun when you do that exact type of thing. When it becomes a job, like when you're saying I have to do X, Magic gets really, really boring really, really fast and certainly loses my interest.
Oh, yeah. No, go ahead.
Oh, I just wanted to agree with Stephen. Unfortunately, I'm not quite at that point yet, but if I keep playing tournaments the way I have been the last couple weeks, it won't be long before I'm
you'll get there. Burnout. Yeah.
Oh, yeah, it's definitely... And then once you start getting result-oriented, it's a very bad mistress to dance with. Been there, done that plenty of times. Like I said, almost quit Magic completely just a little over a year ago from now. So... definitely something that you don't want to get into. So I'm glad that you're actually able to observe it and and then just take that little step back. Because the process is so huge, but it's so easy to ignore. If that makes any sense.
Yeah, and like I'm fortunate in that a lot of my improvement has come from being around players who are better than me, watching Steven and watching our friend Kyle and other players who we've been able to test with, just like play games and be able to pick their brain and stuff. But lately I've been doing a lot more work on my own, and I have to find a better process than just jamming games, because there's a point where playing a lot of games is really good to learn about your deck. But once you've kind of got the basics down, it's kind of self-defeating. Like, eventually you just start picking up bad habits and stuff.
Yep.
So.
Absolutely. I agree with that 100%. Yep. The process is super important. It's really, really important, in my opinion, to not get burned out, which, is why it's really important to just, play when you actually, like, want to play. And like you said, you need to... It's good to have some goals, but it's also good to not push those goals, not push so hard for those goals that you burn yourself out, for sure. Which is, I think at the beginning of quarantine, Larry and I were both doing that. And now we're not doing that, and Magic is much more enjoyable right now when I'm just hopping on and playing Historic when I want, or playing a tournament whenever I feel like playing one. And, we're doing streaming and stuff, but yeah, it's much, much more enjoyable when that's going on, at least for me.
So, Connor, did we tell you about our schedule for when we were doing those last chance qualifiers?
You guys were playing, like, in the middle of the night, right?
Yes.
We were playing twice a day, 9 p.m. and 4 a.m.
Yep.
Every night. Every night.
Yeah, I think...
I kind of lost it a little bit towards the end there, a little bit.
Yeah.
Almost lost the computer too, but that's okay. That's the keyword, almost. Yeah.
You gotta recognize when enough is enough.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, minimal sleep. Stressed out.
Yeah.
Too result oriented about it.
Yeah.
I'm like, it was very frustrating. And then just everything. So definitely don't do that. Like, you got to give yourself a mental break. That's why whenever I'm starting to get burned out, I bought a PS4 for a reason. Mm-hmm. We're gonna just not even turn Magic on.
Yep.
And I'm very good at doing that now. I'll go a week without even think about turning on Arena.
Yep.
Or Moto or whatever. Yeah. Now it's a little different because we're streaming, but
That's
still.
Something that I think has helped me a lot out recently is that, like, I, for a couple of years, I just, like, didn't play other games.
Same.
My only free time was Magic.
Yep.
Where I went to both relieve my stress but also try to achieve my goals,
right?
And when you mix those two things, and it was also, like, one of the only areas where, like, if I'm here alone in my dorm, that was one of my ways to connect with friends from back home.
Yeah.
But recently I've been, like, playing some Among Us and some Cards Against Humanity and some Jackbox games.
Yep.
With, other Moto grinders and other SCG Tour regulars, and it's like, that's just great, man. Because I get to hang out with my friends, but we're not stressing about this thing.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, no, I totally agree, dude. It's very good to have some other outlets for sure.
Yeah,
Magic is your only outlet. That can be a real issue.
Yeah, that's how mine was. Like during my whole paper time is all Magic all the time. Like when I'm not doing Magic, I'm listening to podcasts. I'm watching YouTube videos. Like, but and I'm not gonna lie, I'm probably gonna go back to doing that all again when the paper returns because, I was on the grind every weekend. That's probably not going to change. I'm telling myself and telling people right now, like, I'm probably not going to go back to grinding when paper returns, but I don't know why I'm lying to everybody and myself.
Yeah.
I mean, there's so much more to grinding than just, like, the playing of the Magic, right? There's a lot more to it, which I think is the like really important part. It's the hanging out and seeing people and going to restaurants, and basically all of us are just taking vacations every weekend.
Yeah,
let's be real.
Let's be honest. I enjoyed it because of the gathering part.
Yeah. I mean, there's a lot more going on than just playing Magic, which is what happens when we start doing the digital. It becomes only Magic, and only Magic gets boring or gets unexciting, whatever you want to call it. You lose focus, these various types of things, and unfortunately there's not a huge way to avoid that happening. Like, you're just staring at a computer screen. Like, it's not as I don't know, it's just not as personable, I guess. And yeah, it's different. It's obviously still playing Magic, but that is literally all it is. There's nothing else, and that is not as having trouble thinking, fulfilling, I suppose.
Yeah, that's a good term. I think.
Fulfilling as the experience of a paper tournament, and it's more than just like the physical cards and playing the game. A lot more of it to me is the camaraderie of it, the basically, like I said, we take vacations like every single weekend, and it's fun.
And we're with people we just enjoy. Yeah. I don't go on tournaments with people I hate. Mm-hmm. That's not usually the game plan.
Yep.
It's just to go and have a great weekend, win or lose. Like, I've had good weekends where I've cashed on multiple events. Where I've also had very bad, I suppose, but they've been able to like get blanked out in a way because I'm with a good group of people to do it with.
Yeah. Yep.
And that's what was that?
When I think back to Larry, finish your thought.
No, I'm done. Go ahead.
So I'm just thinking, like, when I think back to, there's a very specific weekend for this, and it's SCG Columbus 2019, back right before KCI got banned.
Oh, I think I know where this is going.
Am I allowed to tell this story?
You sure are. You absolutely are. Okay, never mind. This is not the one I was thinking you were going to tell, but now I know what you're going to tell. But I was thinking you were going to tell the one about the chocolate milk, which is also a great story. Connor and I both love chocolate milk. For those who are watching, we order that over alcohol at restaurants. Anyway, continue.
So when I think back to SCG Columbus of 2019, I don't think about how, like, I misplayed against Spirits in round 15, or how I, like, got a sick KCI turn in the mirror. I think about how Dykman got lost in some roundabouts and our, like, shenanigans on the way down to the tournament with Tegan trying to convince Dykman not to play 8-rack. And most of all, I remember Goodnight Tegan.
Yes, this is a good story. This is just me just being a maniac, but it's a good story.
This was so much fun. So we're in the hotel. It's about 10 o'clock at night. Tegan had gone to bed before us, and he had said goodnight pretty early on. Dykman and I were still cubing because at that point it was January and the holiday cube was still up, and we're just we just loved taking some Scarab Gods and some Mull Drifters. It was so much fun.
Oh, that was sweet. Yep.
But anyways, when we start getting ready for bed, Kyle had the bed to himself. Dykman and I get in our bed. I say goodnight, Stephen. Goodnight, Connor. Stephen says goodnight, Tegan. Tegan doesn't respond.
Yes. Yep.
This is about 12:15 at night.
Yep.
Just give her a approximate timetable.
Oh yeah.
Stephen says it again. Maybe they didn't hear me. Goodnight, Tegan. And Tegan just says, "Well, I already said goodnight. I'm saying it again." So Dykman is one of the most stubborn. Am I allowed to swear on your podcast?
Yeah, go ahead. It's fine.
Just one of the most stubborn motherfuckers you have ever met.
I am nothing if not motivated.
That's a better word. Completely positive.
Yeah. Anyway, continue. Yeah.
Good night, Tegan. After about 15 minutes, he gets up. At this point, I'm just like losing my mind, and I just want to go to sleep because I've got a tournament in the morning. Dykman gets his pillow, brings his pillow over to Tegan's bed, says good night, Tegan, and hits him with the pillow. Still no answer. Good night, Tegan. Hits him with the pillow. This goes on for another 15 minutes. At this point, I get up and I try to bring Dykman back to bed. I'm like, come on, Tegan. I'm trying to sleep. I'm trying to drag him back across this hotel room. I can't imagine what our neighbors thought of us.
Oh my God! Yeah, I know. I wasn't thinking of them at the time.
At about 12:45 at night,
Yeah.
Dykman grabs Tegan's sheets and blankets, rips them off, starts hitting him with his own bedding, saying goodnight, Tegan, until about 1 o'clock in the morning. Finally, Tegan just goes, good night, you guys, and that was good enough for Dykman. Both of them insisted that they won that battle.
Yep. Mostly, it was good enough for Connor because he got to go to bed. I was, it was suboptimal, but I was going to take it. Connor needed his sleep, so this was also one of the first trips. I think this might have been the first time we ever stayed together, Connor. Is that correct?
I think it was.
Yeah, I think
Talk
it was
about
too.
first impressions.
Yeah,
That was just so much fun, man.
it was.
As long as I was then, I'm so glad you did that nonsense.
Yeah, right. Like it's that kind of thing, right? That is what you don't get from the online tournaments and stuff. Is that kind of silliness right there? The people component.
Yeah, we wouldn't have our elixir of immortality moments,
Yeah, exactly. Just really funny, stupid things that it's just honestly it's just part of being a human being. Like you want to interact with other human beings.
And then look at the moments that we get from Magic. We're like me, you, and James before the quarantine really went to everything happened at the end of last year. We went to New York City.
Yeah.
1 year ago, yesterday, over this past weekend, or the last few days, I was getting memories that I was in Vegas last year for the GP. I've been getting all these memories on Facebook these last few months, and they're kind of depressing memories, I ain't gonna lie, because,
it sucks not being able to do it. Yeah,
We literally have no choice.
Yeah.
So, the only thing I would love to take from Magic Online is that chess clock, Steven. Specifically for players like you, I would love to have a chess clock.
Dude, there's a clock on Arena. I'm fine.
No, I'm not. I'm just talking about to bring it to paper.
Well, there's a clock on Arena too. It's about the same, isn't it? The only difference between Arena and Magic Online is Magic Online has prompts and clicking and things and management. Arena does that for you. But as far as the decision making, it's still. It almost. Is a little more intensive in the decision-making portion of it, because like Connor said on Moto, you can take 4 or 5 minutes on one turn.
Oh, yeah.
That critical turn, you can put all your time into it. I remember, I think Jonathan Sukanik often said about hardened scales that it is one of the best, most powerful decks, but you oftentimes don't have enough time to think about all of the lines and things in the deck, because oftentimes you'll want to do that in paper, but obviously someone will call a judge on you in paper if you're taking 5 minutes on one turn. That's just going to happen. But on Moto, you can do that. It's
because on Moto you're not sharing the clock, too.
Right? That's what sucks about paper, unfortunately.
Because you do have to share a clock. So I get my opponents it's rare if an opponent ever tells me I need to hurry up, because I'm a pretty quick player in paper.
Yeah.
For the most part, there's still moments here and there, but regardless, that's the only bad thing is we do have to share the clock compared to how Magic Online does give us that benefit. Don't get me wrong, I utilize it. Wish Arena would take away that stupid rope that they have for some reason.
Well, that's kind of like the judge coming over and enforcing the third. There is no action. People tell you all sorts of things, but that's the 30-second per decision or whatever is why they do the rope. But the rope is so detrimental when it comes to logging out. That's the real thing that just sucks about the rope because of the log out.
I just have arguments that the rope shouldn't exist. That there's also a clock.
Yeah. And we've talked about that. Having both,
and that's the only reason I bring it up is that's another reason I prefer Magic Online.
Yeah.
And that's why I would prefer to grind Magic Online. Like, I miss, like, just grinding standard Foley on Magic Online. I wish Historic was on Magic Online I wouldn't even have to load up Arena.
Really enjoy Historic, yeah.
I wish they would do, like, Amoket Remastered drafts on Moto. Because I've drafted a ton on Moto, obviously, because I had to. So I love the Moto program. I know people say that it's outdated, like all that kind of stuff. I'm not here for
Moto's good. Moto's definitely good.
I'm not here for the fanciness. Like, honestly, the fanciness is why Arena lags out like it does. Moto ain't lagging out over it being fancy. I'll tell you that. Like, there ain't nothing fancy about it. It's straightforward. We're just here to play some cards.
But it's funny. It's funny you bring that up, though. I'm like pretty confident if there were clocks in paper and things functioned the way they did on Moto or Arena, I would actually be fine. I'm not necessarily my pace of play is not my problem when it comes to the time. It has to do with the mechanics. In every client is like in paper and on Moto, which is why I don't play Moto that much, is the mechanical issue of just like knowing how to hit the buttons properly, knowing how to not lose, because I lose so much time to the buttons because I don't know how to manage them well.
And that's something you just got to play.
You got to learn it. You got to learn it.
But like I said, I was bad at first, and then I slowly, my time started to go down.
When I was playing Moto briefly for a while, I did get better at it, but I was still never very good at it. And in paper, I'm actually not great mechanically either. I'm very, very slow mechanically, which is weird, but it's just something I have to learn to work on.
Yeah.
Which will be very awkward when we go back to paper because I have not played paper in a while, so random.
You just gotta find little shortcuts that like just to be able to get around things.
Because you lose time to a lot of stuff in paper.
Yeah, we can't actually reliably ever get a chess clock in Magic.
It's impossible. Unfortunately,
somebody gonna get down and try to push your chess clock without you seeing it.
It'd just be really. It'd be very difficult to set it up. Maybe it's possible. Maybe someday someone will figure out something that will work. But honestly, the problem with it is, as soon as that happens, then it kind of becomes the whole online. Like at that point, why aren't you just playing online? Because
I don't know. People play chess in person, and they have clocks, online too. So.
Isn't chess is different though because of priority? There's no priority in chess. As soon as your turn's done, it's done.
Yeah.
In Magic, priority shifts, which obviously Arena and Moto can keep track of.
Yeah.
But in paper,
there's
no.
You're right.
Nobody's
responding to you moving your pawn or whatever.
Right, exactly.
Like response, I'm going to move my king.
Yeah, or with your pawn movement on the stack, I'm going to move my queen to F5.
Yeah, for real.
But
it would be like very difficult to figure out or to keep track of what phase of the game you're in.
That too.
Like, progressing really fast.
Yeah,
no,
absolutely.
Like, verbally announce what phase you're in all the time, and it would just take forever.
Yeah,
there should just be a judge at every match. I know it would be a few judges, just a few. We won't be doing side events no more, so give up on that dream. Or there'll be side events with no judges. We gotta choose one or the other. I still don't think we'd have enough judges. That'd be a lot of judges.
That'd be way too many.
That's a lot of judges.
So much manpower.
I don't even know if we have that kind of staff in the country right now.
I doubt it. That's like, so many judges, dude. So many judges.
I don't know, but we'll get paper soon enough. In the meantime, we got Magic Online, do our thing. Magic Arena's still a thing. I know I'm going to start playing more Arena once we have our rotation because, it'll
be so nice.
It'll
be more fresh and fun. That's the field banning did, if nothing else, at least make Historic a little more fresh. The Euro decks are still very good, but they at least have a little less late game power. Which, made the format a little more fresh, left some room to do some brewing and messing around. Which is fun. That's what I enjoy when I'm playing Magic. So.
And Connor, we don't want to keep you too long, but I wanted to just ask you, how's the streaming going overall? We wanted to touch that a little bit, would you?
Yeah, it's been a lot of fun. I've been getting a lot of support from the community, a lot of friends coming out and just hanging out. It's fun just like being there chatting with people while we play, Mm-hmm. So I've really been enjoying it. If anyone wants to check my stream out, I am at twitch.tv/mallmoney. I streamed like a lot last week. I streamed like 6 days in a row. I'm
Yeah,
taking
you
a
did.
little break this week, but we played a lot of Pioneer, a lot of Lotus Field, a lot of Modern, a lot of different decks in Modern. We've been exploring some Red-Black Prowess and some Earl piles lately.
Cool.
So
Yep, makes sense.
it's been a good time, yeah.
Yep, I saw you doing Red-Black Prowess. I was talking to Steven how a lot of people are playing Prowess. We're about to start boggling people
Oh, yeah,
again.
we're definitely going to boggle people
We're gonna
again.
start boggling.
Absolutely.
Dude, talk to Zach Allen. Have him tell you about Boggletron.
Oh, God. Is that one of his... Did he make magic happen with Boggletron?
I think he did.
That's awesome, dude. I saw today he had I didn't watch it, but he had a video on Titan Vial, which
Yeah.
I assume was vialing in Croxa and Euro, is my guess.
Oh, you haven't heard about this deck?
No.
This ain't his, like, bro. This is a deck that's been gaining a little steam.
Oh,
I've
I
been seeing.
see.
Yeah, so it's basically a mix of Maverick and Amulet Titan. Right?
Oh.
So they play they play the Primeval Titan, a Dryad, and then all the lands package.
Okay.
But they also play like Knight of the Reliquary, Elvish Reclaimer, and a bunch of other just like kind of D&T style creatures.
Weird. Okay. Is it better than normal Amulet?
It's definitely cooler.
Well, it's definitely more interesting. I guess what are the upsides to doing that over just traditional Amulet, do you think?
That's not something that I could really speak
Okay.
to.
Yeah.
I will say this: one of the biggest Amulet streamers, F. Paulus.
Uh-huh.
I don't really know how he pronounces it, but has been streaming a lot with it. And then Zach, our friend Zach Allen in Harlan, actually did a breakdown of it on their most recent podcast.
I see.
Yep.
Okay, cool.
Yep, they were talking about it. I saw that they posted that on Twitter. Yeah, no, the deck is cool. Like, so I want Violin Primetime, just cause I don't think it's good.
Oh my God, that's gotta be so bad. That's a turn 7 Primeval Titan.
This ain't about being good. It's just a dream.
Lord,
You know I love me some Vial.
that is not what the Amulet deck wants to do. Is put a Titan in play on turn 7.
Yeah, that's.
But I don't know. I mean, maybe this deck is more grindy and mid-range. I don't know. Maybe I should give that podcast a listen. Either
Yeah.
way, though, that's cool. But yeah, Connor, thanks a ton for coming on and being a part of the show today.
Yep.
We really appreciated it.
Definitely want you to message over like your Twitter handle and everything to me. So
Yep.
I'll have it in the description on the YouTube page.
Plug that in there.
Though your Twitch channel, all that. Any channels that you want on there, we'll definitely put on there, and we'll be updating social media accounts when this is live. It usually goes live on Friday. No set time, no. It's all based on when it's loaded.
For sure. Thank you guys so much for having me. This was a lot of fun.
Yeah,
Yeah,
we'll
it
have
was
to do
nice,
it
dude.
again in the future for sure.
Yep.
And in the meantime, keep crushing those tournaments, my friend.
Yep.
Take them down.
I really appreciate that.
But until next time, we will definitely catch you later, my friend.
See you, dude. Yeah, so again, really, really awesome to have Connor on. We've brought up Zach Allen multiple times in this specific podcast. Excuse that, everybody. More
on.
Money's calling us back here.
Yellow.
We can still like chat for a few minutes off the air, right?
Oh, we're
Yeah.
still.
We're just wrapping up
Yeah,
the
we're
show
wrapping up,
really
dude.
quick. My bad.
I'm so sorry.
Give us a sec. No, you're good. You're
Yeah,
good.
you're good, my friend. Connor missed out all of our listeners, so he wanted to come
Yep.
back to say bye one more time.
Yep. And we'll be talking with him in another 10 minutes probably after
Yeah.
after we wrap up here. So
Yeah, no.
talk to you in a sec, Connor.
Yep, but no. What were you saying about Zach?
So Zach Allen has confirmed that he will be good to come on next week. So he's going to be our guest next week, which will be
Okay.
really awesome.
Sweet.
Topic not certain on, but I was telling him I think a good idea might be content creation because he's been working.
He's
his
been
tail
busting
off
his tail
with
off on
RAW
YouTube.
Makes Magic Happen.
Yeah.
So it'll be really exciting.
I respect what he's doing.
Oh, yeah,
like,
he's only been doing it for like a month and already has like 250 or 250 something on YouTube. Whatever is it? A subscriber?
followers,
Follower,
subscribers. I don't know what
whatever
YouTube
it's called,
says.
but he's doing a great job. So I think that would potentially be a really good topic, and
Yeah, that's something that we were doing for some, but we
Yeah.
need to get back to for sure.
And maybe he can help us out. Give
Yeah,
us
we
some
get some insight on
Yeah.
that too. Yeah, no, that'd
So
be
that
excellent.
might be a good topic.
Yeah,
so that was what I.
And I like Zach. Me and Zach's had some fun. He wrote
Zach's a cool
story.
dude
Like,
for sure. So that'll be fun.
we've also tasted James.
Oh, of course. Yeah. Who hasn't? I mean, that's just what you do.
Yeah,
to James
like-
Johnson. So
Good old James. We'll have to to get him back on here sometime so we can tase him some more on
pretty
the air.
soon, honestly. It's been almost 20
We
episodes.
could do Road Stories Part 2.
there are plenty more.
Oh, we ain't
plenty
close
more.
to having them done.
Yeah. So,
But yeah, but until next time, Larry here,
Steven.
and we will catch y'all later.